a meeting to order, and we've got approval minutes from the April 29th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes,
Second.
April 29th.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. So, you want, let me sign that before I forget it.
Yep, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. I had, well, under new business, we were gonna talk about the protective overlay zone, and that's been brought up, quite a bit. But, I wanna go through and, first and foremost, we are a planning commission. And in looking at the bylaws of our current planning commission, it says, there's a series of duties here. And the first thing that it says is to make or cause to be made, adopted, and maintain an official comprehensive plan for the city within Stafford County, which in the commission's opinion forms a total community subject to approval of the governing body by KSAS ordinance. We don't have a comprehensive plan, and I guess, in my opinion, some of the things that have been going on, like the church case, and maybe even some other things, we don't have a plan to base our decisions on. I mean, we make decisions based on our opinion or the opinion of other people when it comes to a protest or something like that. So by rights, we really ought to consider developing a comprehensive plan. We can't do that ourselves. That's usually done by a consultant or a contractor. And that's one of the things also under, and it's already passed, but we're supposed to submit to the governing body on or before the first Monday of June of each year a proposed budget. So, it might take us a while, but we probably need to consider, and this will probably have to go up for a vote, but to propose advertising for a request for proposals to prepare a comprehensive plan.
Oh,
I know Aaron Raines has talked to me about it. He's gone through some of the League of Kansas Municipal training sessions, and one of them was the zoning, which I did some time ago. And so he was questioning why don't we have a comprehensive plan. So I know that if we decide on that's he would be in favor, and I would like to think that maybe some of the other council members would also. It doesn't have to be very extensive, like some other communities, but comprehensive plans, they identify existing land uses, future land uses, and growth, and then it deals also identifying infrastructure, roads, sewer, water needs, which I think would be very helpful. And of course, at the planning of that, you involve the city council, you involve planning commission, you involve the community in the form of public hearings, and you ask, you get an idea what does the community want, and I know that one of the things that's kind of controversial is the matter of mixed uses or protective overlay zones, because under the last protest, some people might agree, some people might not, but it says here commercial zones should be strictly reserved for businesses particularly in the downtown area, to ensure the continued economic vitality of our town. Well, that hasn't happened for a while. We've restricted mixed uses, but it hasn't gotten us anywhere. So when you look at mixed use zoning, it says, the benefits is to spur revitalization, encourage high quality design, preserve and enhance traditional village centers, promote a village style mix of retail, restaurants, offices, civic uses, multifamily housing, provides more housing opportunities, may increase affordable housing, enhances an area unique identity and development potential, promotes pedestrian and bicycle travel, reduces auto dependency, roadway congestion, air pollution by co-locating multiple destinations, promotes a sense of community, promotes a sense of place, encourages economic investment, and it keeps going on and on and on, increases revenue, promotes efficient use of land and infrastructure. So there are some good reasons why you develop a mixed use zoning.
So with that, is there what sort of rules and regulations do you create that to fit our environment, or is there like a set regulations that everybody goes by, or how does that work?
That's where just this aspect would, when you're developing a comprehensive plan, you would come up with these suggestions and ideas, and that formulates the guide. I mean, we'd have to end up probably changing some of our zoning regulations.
Yeah.
And but it all has to be subject to approval. So it's like, whatever we do, I mean, we can't, as a group, we can't just say, oh, we're going to develop a comprehensive plan. It has to be approved by the governing body, like everything else does. So, I said this before, I really don't want to spend a whole lot of time until we get some kind of feel from the council on whether they are even interested in doing something like this. I mean, I don't know, I mean, we're still in litigation, or at least the hearing process for the church, which based on the fact that some people think that commercial zones should not allow living downtown. So if that's the way they feel about it, there's no sense of going forward with any kind of mixed use or even a protective overlay zone.
So when you say mixed use, are you saying if somebody were to buy a building across the street and just make a house out of it between the two businesses,
Yeah.
is that what you're kind of have in mind?
That's a possibility, but it, to some extent, it's just actually, creating residential areas like in the upper floors.
But wouldn't that be the same thing that we already have to where
Yeah,
you're leaving
that's right.
upstairs?
Yeah.
Have you seen that implemented anywhere?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because I'm just saying, I've traveled all over Kansas.
Yeah.
I mean, basically all over, and I've never seen like a residential. Most towns that I've ever drove through, their business district is their business
Yeah.
district, and you don't see residential housing or.
Well, you wouldn't see a residential house.
Or I mean, I don't see a place that looks like people live there.
Yeah.
Like you drive by a house with kids and you see bikes on the street or out in the
Yeah.
front yard. I mean, how do you?
Well, I mean, there are.
I mean, I'm just not familiar
Yeah,
with
I mean,
any
that-
town that
Yeah.
I have ever been in that has implemented having people living in basically what would be our square.
Yeah. Well, there are examples. I mean, here's one from Kenton. and it's got little front yards, it's got trees, it's got patio furniture out front, and it looks, I mean, it kind of is comparable to a commercial building, but it's residential use.
But that wouldn't be feasible for our square. I mean, you couldn't do that. You couldn't put like a little yard out in the front.
Well, in our case, you wouldn't need to, because you got a fantastic front yard the way it is,
At the park.
you know, but they're out
I
there.
wonder what-
Maybe not so much here, but you do see other communities that might have a fire station that's in a commercial zone, and someone has bought it and turned it into an apartment or a living.
So it's like,
But
so
that would
if they
be-
want to turn it into like Airbnb or
Yeah.
apartments, is
That would be different because that's a business,
Right.
Yeah.
not.
Well, no, I mean the fire station's no longer existing at that location.
Right, but
It's
if you're
no-
running an Airbnb, that's
Well,
a
yeah.
commercial property.
Yeah.
That's not a residential property.
Right. Yeah. But it's like the economic development. They have apartments above a commercial, which is allowed under our current
Right.
standards. But you could actually have someone purchase one of our commercial businesses, turn the upstairs into apartments, and that's totally up to the community of whether or not you want to allow them to live in the lower levels of a building. We have 2 examples now, and nothing's being done about it.
So let's say
So,
if,
and they don't look like a resident. I mean, you just open the door and you go in there and you live. You know, it's not like it looks like a.
so if somebody were to buy a building and put 2 apartment, one upstairs, one downstairs, that would be okay in the mixed uses, right?
Well, in some extent, it just all depends on the community. Do we want to do that or not?
So like, let's say if we were
Yeah.
to pass this,
Yeah,
and that would be like an example of
Be an
mixed
example.
uses.
it's like what happens if the secondhand store goes? That's a house,
Yes.
and does it look bad? No, it doesn't. If someone were to buy that and say, I want to live there, and I keep pointing to the other houses on the same block, that's downtown commercial, but they're residential structures. So,
Yeah, I see the difference in
You
a
know.
residential structure versus a commercial
Yeah.
structure being used as a house.
Yeah, no one's going to build a house in our downtown commercial area, but it's possible that some of these could be converted into residential uses.
So, what if a building comes up for sale on the square?
Yeah,
They want so much money for it, or let's just say it's going to auction, and you have a business willing to come in, and they're willing to buy that building and put a business in there, and then you have somebody that's willing to pay more money to use it as a residential structure. We just miss
Yeah.
out on a business.
yeah. That
I mean, theoretically.
Yeah. That doesn't, right now that's not happening. We have that's another argument, is that we have vacant businesses downtown that are not being utilized for anything. except
But they're not for
storage.
sale either.
They're not for sale, but
Right.
that's what's hurting our business.
Yeah, I'm just
I'd like
looking
to
at both
see-
sides
yeah.
of it. I mean,
I'd like to see an example, and I'm not saying that we convert our downtown into a residential district, but I'd like to say even some of these vacant commercial buildings that we have, divide it off and create a smaller storefront area. Clean up the front and petition it off so that someone can have a small business. They might not need the whole building, and maybe that's why it's sitting vacant, is because it's too big. But then use the back half for something, storage or something else.
yeah, but I mean, I don't think we can regulate what somebody does with their own building that they own now. You know what I mean?
Well,
As
other
far
than-
as if
no.
they're
Yeah.
using it for storage and
Yeah.
it's a commercial building,
But we can encourage it.
yeah,
We can
correct.
encourage it with a comprehensive plan and developing some kind of a mixed, we're not forcing anybody to do it, but it's available,
Right.
Well, you can force, well, I don't wanna say it's enforcing it or encouraging, but if there's programs out there, and I know that there are grants available, that cities can provide funding to help improve the front of a building, or even do work on the inside of a building, if you promote it for a certain use, like a business. You know, I mean, we're doing it for housing now. I mean, there's, you know,
Yeah.
we're building houses in residential areas. Why not promote some funds also to encourage businesses to come downtown?
I think that's what Ego Devo is doing with the Hood Heaven building, or that's their
Well,
goal.
the
But
rumor I had it was that they were going to put offices in there, which
I mean, I think they want some sort of space in there for a business. I just don't know what kind of business. But I'm pretty sure I think that's the idea that they
Yeah.
have, is to
Well,
remodel
and
it
see
for
with the
businesses.
The Mexican restaurant's going to be moving out to the highway, so that's another. You got Hood's Haven, then you got the Mexican building that will be vacant, and
Well, the Brenda Beebe's or whoever owns it.
yeah, everything else.
Sat down.
Everything else between the pizza, the whole museum, and the post office is going to be vacant.
I heard Ronnie Lyons, really.
Well, he lives in it,
Yeah.
but that's yeah. I'm not saying it's it's not up to us to regulate what goes on, but if we could come up with some ideas based on, again, working with a comprehensive plan. You identify existing uses, how it might be proposed for future uses, let the community have some input on it, and go from there.
So we wanting to have like a public hearing as far as like what people wants to see, and then we build off of that to become
That's-
a plan. Is that how I understand it?
When a consultant comes in and prepares, they prepare a plan, they bring in the community, they bring in the city council, and they have sit-down meetings. And they'll have boards, or things that you can pencil on,
Sure.
and they'll divide them up into. I mean, I've been to several, and they'll divide them up into several tables of people,
Oh,
and then ask them, what would you like to see in your community? And they write out the list. They'll have a list, and then they also study. You can do a search on the internet and for population history for the city of St. John, Kansas. And it's quite interesting. In 1880, there was only 86 people. And then it got to the point, the peak was 1,700 and some people in 1910. That's when all these buildings, the Tudor building and all these buildings downtown started building. It never did get much higher than, I think under 1,800 is the highest population that St. John's ever had. But at some point, like in the 1960s, when I was in high school, you had lots of storefronts, lots of restaurants, two grocery stores, and it was like 1,500 or 1,600 people. But then all of a sudden it dropped down. It's like just a curve down, and we lost half of those people. I don't know what happened. Was that when Walmart came? When I was growing up, every weekend, I always went to either Hutchinson or Great Bend, and we'd go shopping. But we still had stores here, and it didn't seem to affect anybody. But that was before Walmarts came in. And then all of a sudden, the businesses shut down. They're gone. I would like to, I'm not saying that we're going to compete with, we've got the Dollar General, we've got the grocery store, all that out on the highway. I worked for the city of Dodge City for years. They had the same problem. It's called sprawl. And Wyatt Boulevard is where, if you've been there, that's where all the businesses went. And their downtown went down the tubes. Now they've, they've tried to do things to recreate their downtown. Because everybody knows, well, they would say that the downtown is the hub of your wheel. And everything revolves around your downtown. Well, that's not happening for us anymore, and I don't know that it ever will. But
If anything, it'll all be out on the highway, pretty
Yeah.
much.
yeah,
Well, I mean, we do have one new business.
Yeah. I just went in there today
Yeah.
for the first time.
and that's
Had a
fantastic.
root beer float. They
Yeah.
had that on the sign when I walked
And I think-
over here. I
Are
thought,
they
damn, that
going
sounds
to
good.
convert the upstairs into apartments?
I
Yeah.
think there was a talk, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure. It might be later on project. Yeah.
Well,
The
it
more
always
people-
amazed me, towns like Ellenwood or Hoisington, that's only
Sure.
like 10 miles from Great Bend,
Yeah,
seem to have a
they still.
plentiest businesses.
Yes, yeah, they do.
And here we are 25 miles away.
Yeah.
And how do they, keep those businesses and keep everybody from just going to Great
Well,
Bend?
we used to have a chamber of commerce. We
Well,
don't have a chamber of commerce anymore because there's no.
Not enough businesses.
No. But there's got to be a way, and I'm just, this is just a suggestion or a recommendation that there needs to be some community planning, and that's to find out exactly what this community wants. If they don't want it, then we'll just keep going down. I mean, I've seen the projection going to 2028, which is only 4 years away, and it's we'll be less than 1,000 people. We'll be down there closer to Stafford. And Stafford's trying to do something, which kind of irritates me a little bit because I think that economic development is working on historic preservation and some other things for them, which we've got buildings downtown that qualify for historic preservation also, which gives you grants to help put money back into making your building safe. I know they had one that collapsed over there,
Mhm.
and the pizza place is closing down, so they don't have much either. But it would just be nice to have some storefronts open. Even if it's just a little. I mean, just like at Cornwell's. I mean, they've petitioned that off for the ice cream coffee shop. It's just one little minute part of that building, and I think it's going over pretty good for them.
I think so too. So,
So-
do you want me to put like a proposal together for the council to see if they want to do a comprehensive plan by the end of the year, beginning of
Yeah.
next year? Do you want me to do that?
I mean, I think it needs. It's not just up to me.
I mean, it's August already.
I know.
That's gonna be pushing it to try to get it done
Yeah.
by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I'm not sure I'd put a time frame on it, but
I don't
Well, it's
mean
not-
to
Yeah.
get it done, but like maybe have them have it in their mind that
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a matter of completing the plan, but it's that planning process.
like starting the
Yeah,
process.
and we would have to look at. Is that when the budget is for the council?
Well, the budget is for 25 is in the work, and it will be approved. It has to be approved and submitted to the county clerk by October 1st.
So I wonder why this calls for a submission of the budget by June.
So
This is the
we,
first
That's
Monday,
when-
the first Monday in June of each year as a proposed budget.
so that's when the department heads, I give out like budget sheet for department heads, and then they're
Okay.
supposed to give it back to me by June, so I can work on my end and then present it to the council.
Okay.
Yep, so,
So I mean, it's still. I guess it would still be. It would be possible to go out for a request for proposals. That would bring I mean, I've got one that works with the League of Municipalities, and that's Booker Willis Radcliffe, BWR.
Okay, see that?
Let's see. You know, that's, yeah. They're the ones that put on the presentation for the, it's BWR, which is Booker, Willis, and Radcliffe. And I know that there's probably others out there, but that, but yeah. So
I mean, if,
it would be a request for, just for them to submit a proposal and, you know, give them an idea that's, you know, it can be as complicated or simple as we want it to be.
I can, I'll put it on my report that we met today, and we're talking about starting a comprehensive plan, and then I will put it out that we are, like, you know, if we would like to bring in a consultant to start the process,
Yeah.
and then we'll see what they say, and then we can go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get a quote.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd give us an idea of what it might cost.
sure, yeah. Yeah, I
I
can do
know,
that
I
tomorrow.
know that I asked Kurt Fairchild, he used to be on the county commission, and I know that they developed zoning some time ago. And I says, did you guys have some kind of a comprehensive plan or a strategic plan when that was developed? And he said, yes, it was I guess it was they called it a strategic plan. And I'm not for sure exactly the difference, but they do have a plan, which they utilize, you know, for when things like this come up. They can look at that strategic plan and say, yeah, that's what we need, or that's not what we need. So I think it would be very helpful.
Okay.
So that, so yeah, I mean, that was the first thing on our duties. And then the second one was to annually review or reconsider the comprehensive plan at the February meeting of each year to determine if the plan or any portion thereof has become obsolete. And then thirdly, determine the conformance of a comprehensive plan of public improvements, facilities, utilities, all types. So we should be reviewing proposed public improvements, but only if we have a comprehensive plan, because we don't know, you know. You have to have a concept or a plan that says, okay, where's the growth? You know, where's the
This is
need?
what we
And
want,
I know that the council has decided to improve the street by the grocery store. So,
Yeah.
which is going to cost a lot of money, but
We got the grant to pay for most of it, so it won't cost us
okay,
more
All
than
of it,
you
like,
think.
you're talking
So,
about Fifth Street,
yeah,
yeah,
all the
From
way.
Prairie to.
Oh,
that would be
281.
nice.
it'll be paved with curb and gutters and everything. We
Yeah.
applied for the KDOT grant and we got the grant, so.
I'm going to that, I like it, I go for it. Go ahead,
And see, when you go farther down the duties of what we're supposed to be doing, we've already adopted a zoning regulation, and then it says prepare and adopt and maintain subdivision regulations. We don't have any subdivision regulations, and I don't know, we don't have a lot of growth in that, a lot of new subdivisions, but there are several things within that subdivision regulation, like lot splits. If someone wants to come in and buy a portion of a lot, our zoning regulation does have requirements on lot sizes. So when someone comes in and says, well, I want to buy half of that lot, we should be looking at that. But that's part of a subdivision regulation, so we might need to consider just the requirements of vacations. I don't know if you've ever had any requests for property being vacated, like an alley.
I have a couple.
Yeah.
but then I was advised by our attorney that, you know, they have to file a petition
Yeah.
with the courthouse and do all
Yeah,
of that
yeah.
stuff, so,
That stuff is identified in the subdivision regulation also.
oh,
But we can, you know, again, we can look at that and just adopt certain aspects of it without going through the whole requirement of designing a subdivision.
oh, okay.
So,
Would that be something that when we have the consultant come in, would that be something that they will do as well, or if we
Well,
ask them to?
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of examples out there. I mean, it's probably something that, you know, we might be able to formulate ourselves, but we work for free, so it's like, you know.
I mean, I can
why do
probably.
we want to do that?
Yeah.
Right.
Probably.
It's not like we don't all have enough stuff to do on our own, right?
Yeah.
I'd probably get you guys paying like the council like $30
Yeah.
per meetings, but
Yeah.
that's not enough either.
No.
So. Yeah, I guess that's a good place to start. I'll propose it that we want a consultant to get the
Yeah.
bid for consultant. So.
And that shouldn't cost anything. I mean, it's just a process of requesting proposals.
Mhm.
You've probably done that before on, you know, and so this will just be, you know, you gotta give them an idea of what we're wanting.
Right.
If it's a consultant like this Booker Willis, they've done comprehensive plans before, so, I mean, cause, you know, you can incorporate, maps, you know, all kinds of things in that, and I don't know that we need that.
Right.
We can hardly find any maps now, right?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
I mean, a lot of them are generated, computer-aided maps,
Mhm.
color-coded with zoning and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep, I
I-
will get
okay.
on my report and
Do-
then we'll meet. Do you want to meet again at the end of the month?
Well, I guess just the standard.
And then I can.
I don't know
write
what our
a
time frame
reply.
would be. I mean, it would be kind of nice to maybe have a feeling from the city council
Sure.
if they want to pursue it or not.
Okay.
And if that's the case, then there would have to be a selection process when, you know, you go out for requests for proposals and then you ask for bids.
Yeah.
And whether that can all be done before the October budget, I don't know.
Well, even they have to approve next year budget by October, but this
Okay.
year's budget, like, it still go until December.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we should be okay there, and I can't see it being more than like 20. Don't you think?
20,000?
Yeah.
I would
should-
hope not.
Yeah,
It
I would
shouldn't be
hope
that
not
much.
either, but
Yeah.
I
and if
mean,
that's the
anytime you
case-
get onto any of this stuff, it's expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, consulting or anything, it's
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Do we need a vote? I
Um,
mean, I don't know.
no, I
is it
think it was just a
it's a
consensus.
consent,
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't.
Because
it's
we're
not
not
a
really
decision.
officially
Taking
just-
any action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I will get
Okay.
on that, and I will give you guys an update after the council
Okay.
meeting next
Yeah.
week.
I know that, you know, I mean, I know Aaron Raines real well. I know that he would like to hear from us about the comprehensive plan. So he would be, he'd like to know that. I know that's only one person, but
Yeah. I mean, plans never hurt. So.
yeah.
Alrighty.
Okay, there's nothing else on the agenda, so I guess we can ask for a motion to
Adjourn.
adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion to adjourn in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're adjourned.
Woo!